Hey, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of Enhancing the Human Experience. I'm Mark Phillips, and this is episode 80. Now, if you live in Boise, you probably either know my guest or you know someone who knows him. And I'm talking about Trentamus Briggs. Trentamus has been like a fixture in the Boise community for so long. He does so many good things in the community. He's super selfless, does a lot of charitable work, knows a lot of people, helps a lot of people, and he's, really been like a blessing, I might say, to the community. And earlier this summer, he moved down to sunny San Diego, La Jolla area. Yeah, right on the beach, super awesome views, palm trees, nice weather, living the dream. And he's been sharing those pictures with us and giving us a glimpse into his life down there. He had an opportunity to go down there, which he talks about in the podcast. And we were all super excited for him. So we connected, and he's still down there in California. I'm here in Boise. We did a remote interview, and I asked him about, what's going on down there, how life is treating him, and about his new project. And we talk all about that. We did have a minor technical issue. We lost our connection, and we were able to get that back. So there was a minor glitch in there. You'll hear it. I come on and identify that, but we got through it. The other thing I want to say is, due to the nature of what we're talking about here, there is a little bit of strong language, and it might not be suitable for young ears. So if you don't want them to hear that, put your earbuds in or maybe listen to it at a different time. But there is some strong language, and I just want to give you a heads up there. Before we get into the show, I want to remind you, you can always look at all of the show notes on my website, gmarkphillips.com. I'll also include links to Trentamus's Facebook page and his Instagram page. We talk about that in the podcast, but you can find out what he's doing. You can connect with him, see all the good stuff that he's doing down there. And I've had Trentamus on the podcast before, and he always has deep, good knowledge to share with us. Because like I said, he's got a deep body of knowledge in health and wellness, in spirituality, in just like total being, totally taking care of your being and your body and your mind. So always a pleasure to have Trentamus on and him to share his wisdom with us. And we talk about so many good things. Last but not least, you can always find all these interviews on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/gmarkphillips. It's really easy to search them and listen to them and download some of the stuff that you like. So be sure to do that and subscribe there if you like to get more access to these videos and all the other stuff that I put on my YouTube page. All right, so let's get into the podcast without further ado and hear what Trentamus has to say. All right, Trent, thank you so much for joining me today. I am super pumped to hear what's going on in your world down there in sunny San Diego.
It's good. It's good to be on here, Mark. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. I always love having you, and I know we've talked the last couple of weeks trying to put something together, and I am super stoked to hear what you're working on and what direction like the universe is taking you in your coaching and in your personal life. So thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. I've always appreciated you, Mark, what you're creating in this world. So I'm really stoked to be here.
I love it. Thank you. I appreciate that as well. So you've been down in California. What has it been? A couple months now?
Yeah. Yep. It's been absolutely amazing. It was so worth going through all of the so a couple months ago, I guess, to give the backstory, I lived in Boise for 15 years, and I really felt like I'd outgrown my shell there. And so I was asking, okay, where am I to go now? I went to this beautiful beach house retreat in Encinitas, and there was incredible people there. We had life-changing experiences. We went to the ocean and just really dove in deep, and there was organic, vegan cafes and crystal stores everywhere, and that's my jam. So
I know.
I absolutely I loved it here. So I said, you know what? I'm going to move here. And I went back home, and I was telling everyone I'm moving to Encinitas. And they're like, well, do you have a place to stay? Nope. Do you have an income there? Nope. And I said, I'm still going to do it. And this is before I was full-time coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And And I had my health practice in Boise, so I was really working on that and had built that up, and I just said I'm going to do it. And so within a matter of 2 weeks after that, I had manifested a great job at a coaching company and a beautiful home that I'm actually at right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went for it. I sold everything I owned, like everything. I went from a 3-bedroom house to just what I could fit in my car. And I said, my heart is pulling me there. So I must go and trust in the universe. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I know that's where my soul is residing in its grandest being and version. So I must listen to that. And so I went for it, and I've been here 2 months, and it's worked out beautifully. I've met incredible people, and the events and the experiences, and just the up leveling of myself, and finding more cheat codes in this game of life, and now really taking life to a whole other level. And so it's been worth it all. It's worth it all.
That's so awesome. Well, you kind of are the epitome of jump and the net will appear, right?
It is. It is. It so is. Yeah, it's finding alignment with your true self, with the universe that is a part that are the same, and alignment with your emotions and what you really want, and then just fucking going for it,
Yeah.
and letting it hold you, letting it just trust fall into it. And when you're really there and really called and really into alignment and really connected, it happens. Everything that you really wish to create happens with you.
Yeah, and I know, and I would love for you to touch on this. I mean, I know your some of your practices and your inner work personally, because we've talked about this before, but I would love for you to share your experience, maybe talk about some of the inner work that you had been doing or were doing prior, because as you and I know, there's no randomness in the universe. Everything is a cause and effect, and the conscious flowing in the conscious stream that we're creating. Tell us
Yes.
about the behind the scenes. We all see the awesome move, and we see you going into this place that is perfect for you. Tell us what you were doing inside and inner work to manifest that.
Oh, yeah.
Because I
It's
know you,
fast.
Trent, and
Yeah. Woo.
I know you got some high
It was.
level practices
Yeah.
and techniques. So share us,
It was a
share.
lot. Oh, so to give a little bit of my backstory, to quickly on, childhood was rough. Like a lot of us, just feeling totally abandoned, being raised by children that had no idea how to raise children, being surrounded by, jealous step parents that would. I was literally the redheaded stepchild that was pushed in the corner. They made me a room in the garage, and that's where I lived, and I felt like fucking Harry Potter, and it was tough. It really messed me up for a long time, and it manifested into really challenging relationships, and sadness, and depression, and addictions, and suicidal attempts, and just all for years and years and years and years. It's such a challenge state. So I started to find these practices and started to make my life better. And I watched The Secret, even though it's kind of, you know spiritual 101. Now it totally just cracked me open, and so I started diving in deep into a deeper level of life, and what has have been obsessed with it ever since then. So I've come to this place. I wanted to give the backstory because it's really been a build up over many, many years, and really that's just the tip of the iceberg of what it's taken to develop these practices and this alignment with myself, and really diving in and moving forward, so that I was ready for this when I went through it. And I'd been through so much that by that time, I mean, uh, that I was ready to just let go. And so it was tough when I was going through, these things that I had acquired over years that I'd really become connected to, like a 400-year-old Japanese wedding table that was hand carved, for samurai warriors, years ago over a peace treaty that I would eat upon, and beautiful paintings that my friends had made, and these memories, and things I had manifested, like a couch. I want to give a quick story on this couch, where this is a part of why I trust in this. So I just moved into this house, and we were looking for a couch, and I was looking and looking of what will work, and then the universe and my guide said, "Dude, what do you want? What do you want?" I said, "Well, I want a black leather reclining sectional." And they said, "Okay." And the very next day, my friend Brian Bothwell called me
Mm-hmm.
and he said, "Hey man, I noticed you guys just moved in and you don't have a couch yet." It's like, do you want a couch? I have this really sweet couch in my parents' storage, and they're getting rid of the storage. Do you want it? I'm like, well, what kind of couch is it? He said it's a black
Mm-hmm.
leather reclining sectional.
Oh no!
And
Oh
oh, by the
no!
way, it also has USB ports to charge your phone, and it's lightweight and it's high quality. And so every time I found that I tell the universe what I want, like going into a restaurant saying this is exactly what I want, they come back with it. So I was selling this couch and just letting go of this.
At this point in the podcast, we were disconnected, so we had to reconnect the feed, and he's going to pick up in the story where he left off. Okay, Trentamus, we had a little bit of technical difficulty there. You cut out, and we're back online here, though. You were telling us about this awesome couch that you manifested with Wi-Fi and USB. So what's up with this couch?
What it is, it's a symbol of potential and possibility. Where when we tell the universe exactly what we want to manifest, it happens. When we're aligned with it, when we feel that it's already happened, then it does. And that is why this couch was so beautiful, that it came into my life. And when I was letting it go, it was a remembering of all the moments I had on that couch, of the laughs and the cries and the joyous moments and the lovemaking and everything that happened on this couch. This couch was a symbol of those memories with the people, and so I was letting go of this life. I was letting go. It was like a death process of my old life of 15 years that I had built up, and then I was just stepping away from it all. And it was tough. It really brought up a lot of my old stories and patterns of abandonment. And am I doing this right? Am I going to look like a fool? And so all this value and self-worth had come up, and I just knew that I had to trust in this understanding of manifestation, and had to take a leap of faith and say, okay, if this is real, then I got to fall into it, and to prove to myself that it's true, so that when I'm sharing it with others, that I know that it's real. Instead of just an idea and a thought, and I manifest a couch and things here and there, I want to know with all of my life that this is what I've created. And so that is why I am where I am now. And I'm really glad that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and I knew, because we've talked about a lot of this before, and I totally get what you're saying, that you've got to experience it for yourself before you can really help other people get there too, right? Because because you and I both know, we study a lot of the same things, and we're studying, spiritual gurus and masters and metaphysicians and all these people who I think on a like intuitive level we know, but until we bring it into our physical experience and connect that link, it's hard to actually truly know, isn't it?
Exactly, it really is, Mark. Until we truly know in our life that it's real and have beyond tangible results and experiences of this, then it's just a thought and an idea, and it really doesn't. A thought and an idea has power, but not nearly enough until it has belief. Belief is when it really has some potency. And so that brings me to, when I was growing up, I felt so alone, so abandoned. I was picked on in school. I was beat up. I come home, and my dad's nickname for me was Stupid. He called me Stupid more than he called me by my real name. And he barely paid attention to me. So did my mom. They paid a lot of attention to my siblings. And it was really, really hard on me and my self-worth, my self-value. I felt alone and that I was worthless for so long. And then I would manifest these relationships with women where I was not valued, and I was left for someone else, just like I felt my parents had done. And so I went through immense turmoil, depression, anxiety, addiction, suicidal attempts. And I was I was just not doing well, Mark, for a very, very long time. And it just kept happening. It didn't stop because I was stuck in this self-fulfilling feedback loop of my own misery. And so I was getting everything I didn't want, but that's where I was applying all of my attention. And so I finally broke out of it. I had experienced the secret, and then I started to dive in, and really, I'm like, well, there's metaphysics to life. There's something more than the religion I was brought up in, and there's actually that feeling of truth of this. And so I just obsessively have since then dove in and went into the darkness and found these golden nuggets and tools, and I call them cheat codes to this game of reality that I now use. And so I had to test that cheat code and say, if it's true that my emotions, beliefs, thoughts, and words manifest my reality, then let's do it all. Let's go all in and make sure that this works before I'm sharing it with someone else. And so now I'm having this experience. Now I'm creating a men's group with Charles Clay, one of my heroes, one of the guys I've looked up to. And now we are going to help many men that went through the same experiences that he and I have had, and let them know they're not alone, and bring the king, the divine masculine king, inside of them out, that fire that's burning in every single man that knows is there. And we all are looking for love. We're looking to be seen, to be celebrated, and to be supported, feel strong, and also know how to hold space with a woman, to attract the woman that we really want, and that loves us and sees us, and to feel confident and like we are worthy and we have value, and it's in each and every man. And so we have embodied this through going through hell over and over. And now it's a beautiful gift that we get to share these cheat codes and these tools on our tool belt from going through that. And we're really excited to see, we've already been having incredible, phenomenal results with men that we've been working with. And now we're creating an 8-week course where you get to have a brotherhood to come together that you could be your true self in. And we'll meet once a week and really dive into stories and old patterns and wounds, and then teach you on how to breathe confidence, the breath of confidence, and how to attract your dream woman, your goddess, your queen, how to become a king, how to love yourself unconditionally and bring out the feminine side of you, the divine feminine, which is patience and intuition, and then by embodying that, you then attract that female into your life. We're also going to be interviewing goddesses and saying, what do you want in a man? How do you want a man to show up in your life? What do you like? What qualities do you like in a man? And then we're having a 2-day retreat in a beach house in Encinitas, California. We'll be flying in, sound healers and goddesses, and to come and hold that space. We're going to cater organic foods and really just hold this space. We're doing ceremony in the water, in the ocean, to really bring about just the best self that we can, and really supporting men doing that, creating a ripple in this world. So we're really excited about that. That'll start next month.
Oh, that sounds awesome. And we talked a little bit about that, and there seems to be so much good energy around that collaboration with what's the gentleman's name you're working with, Trentamus?
Yeah, Charles Clay, Clay.
Okay. I think this is the right time. I mean, there's always the right time to do, like, spiritual awakening or awakening either masculine or feminine aspects of ourselves.
Right.
But speaking about your journey and the journey that brought you here, it's interesting, isn't it? Like, it all comes full circle, doesn't it? And it becomes like, you look back on your perspective and just you telling us your story, I can see the closing of the loop, and that it all happened in the right way at the right time to bring you where you are now. Do you feel that way?
It does. That is the really interesting thing, where when I look back, everything makes sense. It's like, oh yeah, I see why I went through that. Now I can hold space for someone going through the same, and I learned this really neat tool, and I tuned myself. I see everything is a note. Everything is made of sound. It's been proven beyond reasonable doubt. And so I go in, and it's also a video game. Life is actually like a dream/video game. And we even have great minds like Elon Musk coming out and saying, yes, guys, it's a higher probability that this is actually a virtual reality than it is real. Neil deGrasse Tyson, same thing. So I'm like, okay, well, if that's true, then and everything sounds, then then I just go inside of myself and tune that place. So going through these experiences were like opportunities to tune inside of me, just like you would on a guitar. So once harmony is created, then boom, we receive that process, of tuning. So now it's aligned, and looking back, everything makes sense. I chose this situation to experience empathy. I chose this experience to feel what it feels like to be dominating and controlling, like I was being before, to myself, to women, to friends, so that I got to experience compassion and empathy and support and love versus dominance and control out of my insecurities. And so now it's almost like most everything's really locked into place. And now it's orchestrating reality with intention and supporting other beings and knowing how to do that and finding ways to create beauty inside that then manifest on the outside.
Yeah, I love that, Trent. And so let's talk about some of the work that you've already been doing. I know this collaboration is somewhat new with Charles, but let's talk about your work that you've done with individual clients leading up to this, because this is not something new that you've been doing. You've when I've known you for a number of years now, and it's been a lot of years that you've been in men's groups. You've been like on the front lines, hammering away at what's going on in our society, which is like the feminization of men and the suppressing of the masculine. So talk about the work you've already been doing with your individual clients, if you would.
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. Yeah, thank you. So what I've done is I found that when I was hyper masculine, when I was being dominating, controlling, hyper masculine, I was afraid of the feminine inside of me and the feminine outside of me when I really dove in. And that's a common thing when we really dive in and find that. So I was a boy. I was like a 27-year-old boy. And then I started working with this men's group, and they completely shifted my reality and showed me how much of a boy I was being and the way of where I was getting my needs met outside of me in sex and drugs and relationships and women and not for myself. And so I was always empty. I always wondered why I was empty, even though I was making love with many beautiful women. I had great friends. I had money but I was always unfulfilled and empty. And then things would crash. I would create this dream life, and then it would crash. And I found that it was because I was using those things outside of me in order to fill a void that was inside. And so they showed me what my stories were, what my patterns were. We would do amazing things like a sweat lodge every month, peace pipe ceremonies, firewalks every year, and a retreat once a quarter. We would do earth ceremonies, and we would also do vision quests. So we'd go out in the woods for 3 days by ourselves and create these visions. So after 5 years, it just really started clicking into place. I had so much of my old patterns shatter inside me, thank God, because they were not useful at all. So then I started supporting other men. I thought, even though I've really gone along with women much better most of my life, now it's time for me to support men, and I'm not afraid of them anymore. I used to be afraid of men. And so I had far more female friends than male friends. And I said, okay, I'm going to step in this and start supporting men and becoming the best men that they can be, because I know how much turmoil I was having in my life. And I know there's got to be other men doing this, so I'm going to make it my life's work to help them. And so we've had incredible results. I mean, sometimes in one call, I'll see a man go from depressed and completely addicted to alcohol and drinking to happy and connected back to himself and alcohol free. And so these shifts that I now embody, that I hold, this frequency that I've become, I then share by seeing that in the other man. I don't see these men that call me as broken. I see them as masters that have forgotten. And yeah, and we all are these masters that have forgotten. We've all come to this place to forget on purpose because it's a lot of fun when you forget that you're a master and then remember, you're like, oh, shit. Oh, yeah, I am a master. I've been forgetting the whole time. Oh, no. And then when you pop out the other side and you realize that, just like in a dream, when you wake up in a dream and you're like, oh, shit, I'm in a dream, then you can do anything. You can fly to the moon. You can go see your friends. You can manifest food, and things seem real in that dream, right? You can feel and touch and smell, and there's even physical pain. It's the same here. When we wake up to realizing that this is also a dream, and that's been proven by science, and then we start noticing, just like in a dream, when we are in that dream, noticing that we're in the dream, what our emotions and our thoughts are being, then we create from that. And it's the same here. There's a little bit less of a lag time because it's not a dream of a dream, but we are absolutely in this reality that is so much more malleable than we know until we start playing with it. And there have been several experiences of my life to know that this is real. And including meeting GP, right? JP, that you know that guy where he was a psychic that knew everything about my life without even, I think he only knew my name. He told me about my childhood. And so there's been these experiences that I've had to know that this is real. And now it's orchestrating it with intention and supporting other men in doing the same and finding balance of the masculine and feminine, of knowing when each thing is perfect in that moment. Sometimes it's good to be masculine and get stuff done and really be in charge and lead from the heart for your people. And if you're going camping or creating a trip, it's really good to make sure that you're really in alignment with that. And if there is a woman or a friend that's hurt and really asking you to hold the space of empathy, then the feminine is really nice to just be and breathe, not try and fix them, just listen. And so there's a balance, and there is incredible tools and capacities within each aspect that we all are. Our soul is not masculine or feminine, our bodies are. And so when we utilize that and understand both of those, then magical things happen.
I love the way you explain that in the sense that, being able to be a certain way in certain experience, in certain situations, because the way I look at it is it gives you access to like the full spectrum of living as opposed to, just being a tough, badass, take no shit, then you have no access to your feminine side, right? And then you lose out on all of that goodness.
Right.
Or the other way around, which is predominantly what I'm seeing and what it sounds like you're seeing is, the feminization of men, and they're losing out on the badass toughness, right, that they need in order to have success in business and life in every area.
Yes, exactly.
I love the way you explain that spectrum.
Thank you, Mark. And I really love the way you explained you that too, because it really is, we're losing out on spectrum. That's beautiful. Where it's like infrared to ultraviolet, there's a spectrum of these colors. And so when, let's say we cut off half of them and we could only see half, that would really suck. And so it's the same when we open up the full field and the full field within ourselves. And to know that there are men that are hyper masculine because I feel they've had to be that way in order to, when they were a child, and they're also afraid of being feminine. And then there are those that are hyper feminine that are afraid of being masculine because of what they experienced as a child. I had a client yesterday where his dad was so dominating and domineering and controlling. And this poor boy, he would get so much. He was not, so his whole family was actually athletes, and he was more of the musician type. And so his dad just hated him. I mean, he did not want him to be this prissy boy. So the boy actually became gay in order to receive energy from his father. And now he's coming back and saying, I don't actually know if I am. I don't think this is the case for all LGBT at all. But I know that somewhere inside of him, his control drama, where he would receive energy, was from, like, if I become this, then I'll get energy, even if it's not good energy. Because, and then on the call, I just said, you know what? You deserve to be seen and celebrated, no matter who the hell you decide to be, no matter who you are, to be heard and to be shown up for, and to say, just who are you? How was your day? And celebrate whatever it is. And he was in tears because he'd never had that. And a lot of us,
Well, go ahead.
a lot of us haven't. And to have someone just show up and see us completely and wholly as we are. And so it's immense just to do that. To have someone else do that gives us the permission to do it ourselves. So,
Yeah. Well, and the thing of it, you know, about that story, which I think we all can relate on some level, because, you know, we need love and connection with people in order to live. And it sounds like this client would do what any rational person would do, find a way to get that, right? And morph themselves or allow themselves to be a certain way in order to get that. And I could totally relate to that as a human being.
Yeah.
You know, that story.
Yeah, isn't it interesting, Mark, where what we don't get as a child, we then seek in immense amounts when we're an adult. And
try to fill that cup
so
up,
if we
right?
don't have control or love when we're young, then we seek to control and love when we're older. And that's why I see a lot of men, including myself, when it comes to women, they're not sure what the hell to do. They're like, okay, I was taught to be dominating, controlling. That's what my grandparents were taught. You just do what the man said. And then it started to get watered down from my parents in that generation. And now to us, we're like, that doesn't make any fucking sense at all. No woman should ever be dominated or controlled. They are incredible, beautiful, amazing beings that deserve to be held and loved and respected and honored, just like we deserve the same in return. So we get what we give. And so when it starts showing up that way with women, being as in, I don't want anything from you because I get it from myself. I give myself that love. And I am okay with my feminine side. So I fill that up myself. Then I could just show up and honor women and appreciate being in that moment and not have any expectations or attachments or this yearning to get something from them or be something so that they become mine, which is so interesting to notice in the male's mind, because it's easier that way to just control, and it's really not. And so it's, once this men's group taught me, just be grateful, just have a complete appreciation for being in the moment with that woman, that you get to see her, you get to see her smile maybe, and maybe if you're really lucky, you'll get to touch her. And so I just started showing up that way and not wanting anything or trying to be someone or something to get it, because I was getting it myself. And then women started flooding in, Mark. It was crazy. I always wanted to be attracted to women. I always wanted them to be attracted to me and have these beautiful women. And then as soon as I started to detach from the attachment of having them and giving that love to myself and accepting the feminine inside of me, they started showing up like crazy every day. And so
which is hard to believe, because I've seen all of your a lot of your girlfriends, and they are all super cute, super awesome on all levels, might I say. They're beautiful inside and out. And so to hear you say that it went higher, I'm like mind blowing. You're blowing my mind.
Me too.
Is that really why you had to go to California, to get the higher caliber?
Well, it is within myself too, and then I'm naturally attracting that outside of me. So yes, in a way.
Yeah, and I shouldn't say that about, because Boise women are freaking beautiful inside and out too. Totally, you and I both know where I'm joking, but seriously, I can only imagine what level you're coming in at when you start tuning yourself up and filling your cup up.
Yeah, it absolutely is, guys. Trust me on this. love on your feminine, be okay with that, and just respect and appreciate being around a woman no matter what. Even if they're freaking out on you, just hold the space, breathe through it, and just
Mhm.
listen. Just listen to them and trust,
Yeah.
and don't try and fix them. And then they do. It comes in hordes. So it's been nice. And what's beautiful is someone will say, well, Trentamus, you're 34 years old and you're still single. Well, if you're attracting all
Mhm.
these women, then why are you still single? Well, because because I'm
That's old paradigm thinking they're bringing
yeah,
in, right? What do you say to those people?
I tell them, what, I've been dating myself for a long time. I actually have been dating myself for about 2 years now. I went through 7 months of celibacy and not dating, and to really heal that feminine in me, so that when I show up with a woman, I'm a healed whole man. And so I've been developing myself to be ready for that goddess, for that queen, so that I attract the one that whenever I look back on a relationship, no matter how amazing they are, I always think, you know what? I feel like I wouldn't have become who I am if I'd stayed in that relationship. I, and
Mm.
so I really want a woman that can hold that space of a queen, and that is kicking ass in life and making a difference in the world and bettering herself and her friends, and really, and just has this whole loving space that she's healed. And so that is, I'm calling in just such a high caliber of a goddess, and I know she's there. And so I'm not going to settle. And I feel a lot of people settle. And I've come to love myself so much that I'm not going to settle until I find that one. And so in the meantime, I'm having a great time loving myself and hanging out with incredible friends, and really just seeing what I can create in this life.
Yeah, well, and I think that's a common because I get that too. I'm single. I love being single. I love doing my work now, which isn't to say that I don't like dating someone and
Hmm.
and having that experience, but it's just I think you got to go where life wants you to go and where you want to go and explore things you want to explore, and sometimes fitting into another person's paradigm of their life, obviously is impossible, right? And so it's just like you got to do what's in your heart to do. But I want to bring up one thing you said, and then I want to have you continue your story here,
Okay.
because I think this is so profound, and I think people need to hear what you said. And you were talking about the fact of filling up the void inside of yourself and
Mm.
not going looking for it elsewhere. And the reason I want to bring that up again is because that is such a common theme in manifestation and in the metaphysical world, is that we're never going to find what we need if we go out there looking for it in a consciousness of need, are we?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's a subtle distinction, but I think that it is really good that sounds like that's kind of the epitome of your whole journey, is that turning within, doing the inner work, giving yourself the love and attention and what you want from the world, because we really are this microcosm, aren't we? And I think that's like a core thing that you've touched upon, is that when you give it to yourself, you don't need it conditionally from someone else, and then everything is going to come to you, isn't it?
Exactly. Yes. We are
Mm-hmm.
a microcosm to the macrocosm, a fractal representation. And
Mm-hmm.
so whatever when we are choosing to live or to act or to speak out of need, then we'll continue to get more need. When we
Mm-hmm.
feel that within ourselves and say, I have that, and have the feeling of having it, then we will manifest more of it. And it is inevitable. And test it. Go in, dive in every day, have the feeling of having whatever you want already. And really dive into the emotion of why do you want it? If you want a relationship with a woman, why? To be seen,
Mm-hmm.
to be loved, to be held, to be celebrated, to be supported? Absolutely. And you deserve that. And when you come from, I don't get that and I need it, this is a very subtle, unconscious distinction. It takes a very aware
Mm-hmm.
person to come to this realization and say, wow, I am doing that. I'm coming from a place of need because I feel like I'm lacking it. And then I bet you that same person has this, I bet you $1 million, they have the same patterns in relationships. When they show up in the relationship at first, you feel supported and loved and seen, and then it starts to change. And then
Right. They go back to that old pattern.
because that was the premise upon the basis of the attraction within the relationship. And I need that. So they're going to, and I bet you anything, you manifest a partner that needs that too. I've done it.
Yep.
I know you've done it. We all done it. So the trick is to go in and say, okay, to take a moment to yourself and write down, what am I really looking for in a relationship? What are the emotions I want to feel from this relationship? Write them out, and then spend every single day just feeling those emotions. And going straight to shortcut it. If you want to feel seen, see yourself. Look in the mirror. Say, hi, buddy, I love you. I know shit's crazy right now. I know you're not perfect, and it's okay. I still love you. I still accept you. I still celebrate you. I still appreciate you. And then every time you do something like you would for that woman, like if she did something super cute and fun and sexy, you know damn well you'd be like, that was cute. Like, I really enjoyed that. So when you do those things, when you do something amazing, celebrate yourself. Celebrate and say, man, that was awesome. Not a way that you're better than anyone, but say, damn, that was tough, and I went through that, and I did a really good job. And I'm glad that I became this grander version of myself, and I'm proud of myself. And I'm no better than anyone else. Everyone is a part of one very divine thing. How could I be better than myself? But celebrating what you do and giving yourself permission to, and I've had a guy say this, and it's coming to me to say this, I give you permission to give yourself permission to love yourself, to give yourself these emotions, to feel what it feels like to already have that relationship. And when you give yourself that relationship, it is inevitable for that to show up in your life because you have the feeling of already having it. And that is the way to live with everything. If you want more money, feel like you already have it. And then when you have it and you spend it, be super excited because you just had enough to spend it instead of a lack of need. Oh my God, I shouldn't have spent that. I don't have enough. Well, guess what just happened? You manifested more of that. But if you go into, I'm so excited to take this money, I have it, at least I have it right now, and I'm going to enjoy this food or this thing or this experience, go for it, take it, let's do it. I'm going to make more. It floods into my life like water. Then that is what will happen. So wherever you place your mind and your attention, it will grow. So it's the same with relationships and love for yourself and money and everything. So we're really excited to have this course and to dive in. We're going to have a 5-day workshop boot camp that's free, and so everyone be a part of that. Come on in. The water's nice. We're going to do some incredible things to help shift the consciousness and to manifest more of your relationship and your life with wealth and happiness and joy and connection to your divine spirit.
Yeah, I love it. I love that. Now, what components of the course are still in, what has been solidified? Because the reason I'm asking that is I want to give people the link or the access to go and learn more about it. If you have it now, that's great. If not, I can put it in the podcast when this airs. So what have you got for us now, if anything has kind of solidified yet?
So great question.
Into
so we're
the course.
Taking applications. Remember, we're only going to select less than a dozen of men that are ready. And so right now we are taking these applications through our Facebook page. There will be a link very soon. Okay. And right now we're just letting it flow into the right men that feel called and feel the spark. We don't need to go out there and hunt. And it's the same with men. We don't need to hunt our women. We don't need to hunt anything. We just feel it and allow it to come to us. So right now, get a hold of us at Trentamus Briggs, the only Trentamus that I know of, and Trentamus Briggs, Briggs, or Charles Clay, just like it sounds. And we'll have a link to add to this podcast very soon. Until then, that will be sufficient.
Yeah, and I'll put the link in. And I'm assuming that is you're talking about Facebook.com/Trentamus Briggs.
Exactly.
Or just search Trentamus Briggs, right? Or Charles Clay.
Yeah, and or Instagram is I'm Ascending Light Warrior, and Charles Clay is Vacation Vibration.
Awesome. Okay, I'll put those links in the show notes to this podcast that people can find at gmarkphillips.com or eventually on YouTube, and that'll link them back to you. And I love the way that you're doing that, because once you send the beacon out energetically and consciously, right, people are going to come and find you. It's like spiritual marketing, isn't it? Spiritual practicing.
It is. It really is. And we are turning into we are creating a reality where that works very well. Instead of having to go out, I love what Jesse Ellis says, being the tugboat, and calling on people. Come on, do this. Let's go. Come on, yeah. Instead of being the lighthouse. At night, everyone's attracted to the lighthouse. They come look at it, and they know that that's it, where they are, because of where the lighthouse is. So we're putting the beacon out. As soon as we started talking about this, I've had several men randomly, quote unquote, come to me and say, hey, I really love what you're doing. Will you talk to me more about it? We've already had a few applications. And so I didn't put any posts. I haven't said really anything about it, but as soon as I started saying, okay, universe, let's do this higher self. Let's make this happen. Let's get out there and support these men and do some really beautiful things, because men and women could really use some support for the masculine to step in their divinity and see their truth and hold their space of wholeness.
Yeah. Well, and it's like I said earlier, there's never a right time, because it's always the right time to do this. But I think because men are starting to wake up, and even women are starting to wake up, because, women don't want men that are too feminine. That doesn't help them doesn't help them get their needs met. Right. And so we're all like waking up to the fact of, hey, I'll put the brakes on. What's been going on for, generation after generation since, 4 or 5 deep now, to this feminization of men. And so it's time to start turning back the train. I think that's why it's an opportune time. You're getting people resonating with your message, Okay, so Trent, like I said, I'm going to put your Facebook information and some links into the on Instagram and onto the website gmarkphillips.com. And I really appreciate you hanging out with us today and sharing your knowledge, your journey with us about helping men empower them to find their masculine. That's awesome, Trent.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Mark, there was a lot of challenge to go through to get to this point, and I know there are a lot of men doing the same thing. And if I can help even one man to move beyond where I know I was, then it will all be worth it. And my goal is to help thousands upon thousands of men, because I know there is suffering out there. I know there's hurting. I know there's confusion of men that have no fucking idea how to live life, or how to hold space with a woman, or who they are, or what their value is. And so now it's time for men to wake up to this and to know who they truly are, and to bring this divine masculine from inside out, and to tap into it and ignite that fire and be ready for a much better life.
Yeah, I agree. It is time. I mean, it's ripe for this type of knowledge and information. So Trentamus, I really appreciate you joining me again. Will you come back and join me on the podcast some down the road? We'll reconnect again.
Of course, Mark, I would love to. We've always been good friends. I would do anything for you, brother.
Awesome. All right, Trentamus, thanks so much. And we'll sign off there. Wasn't that great? Isn't Trentamus just a joy to listen to? And all of that manifestation knowledge. I mean, I was taking notes as I was going through the editing process. He has his finger on what it takes to manifest, all about the feeling, all about living as if that had occurred. Deep knowledge. I mean, that's all practical manifestation, like 101 and beyond. So I want to thank Trentamus again for being on the show. And this is going to be a podcast that I know that I'll probably have to go back and listen to again to pull out some of those nuggets of wisdom that are sprinkled throughout there, and all that knowledge that he's dropping in there. But yeah, that manifestation stuff is awesome. Trentamus, thanks so much. And we're going to sign off there. We'll wrap up the show. I want to thank you for listening. I really do appreciate it. If you like the podcast, if you got some value out of it, hey, why not head over to iTunes and leave a review? That would be super awesome. Or Subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/gmarkphillips. Comment, like this video, share it with someone who you think might find some value in it. And remember, you can listen and subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite podcast apps, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn. So check it out wherever you listen to podcasts. Add it to your subscription so you can stay up to date on what we're doing, because we're really just getting started and more interviews are coming down the line. So thank you very much for listening. And until next time, all the best, health, wealth, and success. Bye-bye.